I'd like to welcome you all to the July 2nd, 2020 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Roll call, please. Here.
Here. Here.
Are there any conflict of interest statements?
No, sir.
No. Approval of minutes of the meeting of June 11th, 2020.
I motion we approve the minutes of the meeting of June 11th, 2020.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item A, bid opening, 2020 Hammond Community Crossing Project, HMA milling and resurfacing Holman Avenue from 165th Street to the Little Calumet River Bridge North Approach. Okay, we have two bids, the first being from Reith Riley Construction, Gary, Indiana. Okay, we have the bid. We have the bid bond, we have the Form 96, and we have the non-collusion affidavit. And the total price is, let me make certain I got it, the right one. Total base bid is $615,927.60. That is from Reith Riley. Yeah, what? I'm just going to set it. Okay. Say again?
There's an alternate bid price as well. Sorry to interrupt.
The alternate bid, bid one for patching is $126,348.40. Okay. Second bid being from Walsh and Kelly, Griffith, Indiana. Make me look for it, boy. Got the bid bond. Got the bid. And let's see here. Non-collusion affidavit. And oh, it's here somewhere. And the Form 96. Oh man, where'd my numbers go? Come on, man. Okay, the base bid price is $675,548.85. And alternate one bid is $152,864.50. That bid price was from Walsh and Kelly. And those are the only two bids for the project. We will, entertain a motion to send them to engineering?
Yes, I'll make a motion to forward these to engineering for their review and approval.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item B, Indiana Department of Transportation Report of Contract, Final Inspection, and Recommendation for Acceptance, Calumet Avenue and Conkey Street Bridge. Mr. Buck.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
This project is the Calumet-Conkey Street Bridge. We have done a final inspection on the bridge, and we have reviewed it with both the contractor and the engineer, and we would recommend the board approve acceptance final on this project. It's a requirement by the Indiana Department of Transportation since it was funded in part by INDOT, or NERC.
You good?
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the final inspection and recommendation for the Calumet Avenue and Conkey Street Bridge.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item C, correspondence received from BP Pipelines, Inc., advising an inspection of a site in the Little Calumet River beginning July 7th, 2020, and continuing for approximately 3 weeks.
So Mark received correspondence from BP suggesting that they're going to be between the confines of the river levee, just east of Columbia Avenue. There's a site that the pipeline crosses that they're going to use on the Hammond side for staging area, and but the work that they're doing is between the levee on the Munster side and the Hammond side, and they're going to expose the pipe. They're going to create a sandbag dam around there, and then they're going to do some non-destructive testing of the pipe, and then they'll wrap the pipe with corrosion-proof wrap and backfill, and they think it's going to be about 3 weeks. So it's really notification to us, but it is occurring inside the river.
There'll be no hindrance on River Drive there by the ballparks where they're going to be working at, just east.
Other than just access, they'll be coming in and out from, to that location. I would just like to advise the board that beginning Monday, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is doing their annual inspection of the levee on both the Hammond and Munster and Highland sides of the river. So the Corps will be in the area doing a review. We've worked with Public Works to have our side kind of tidied up so that it's ready for inspection. So that'll be occurring at the same time.
Okay.
Make a motion.
Is it, Lynn, acknowledgement or a motion? All right, we're going to acknowledge the correspondence, Mr. Button, duly noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item D, right-of-way permit submitted by the engineering department for approval.
Yeah, we've reviewed these. Jonathan does that, and we recommend board's approval of that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the right-of-way permits.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item E, final balancing change order number 1 submitted by United Consulting for the First District, Torrance Avenue, Burton Court, Hammond Court, and Roosevelt Drive project.
Thank you. This is a final balancing change order. My recollection is that this is a credit to the project. Just basically finals out, I don't recall the amount, but it just finals out the contract quantities because these are quantity-based contracts. No adverse financial impact to the city.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve the change order submitted by United Consulting.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item F, Correspondence received from Marathon Pipeline LLC advising of routine right-of-way clearing activities on City of Hammond property.
Standard routine cleaning, clearing and cleaning to keep the right-of-way clear.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to approve the correspondence from Marathon Pipeline LLC.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item G, correspondence received from Valero advising routine maintenance procedures and hydro testing their pipelines which run across City of Hammond property.
Similarly, just notification that this is ongoing and clearing of activities.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve Valero the maintenance procedures.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you kindly.
Item H, First Amendment to the 2018 agreement between the City of Chicago Heights, Illinois, and the civil city of Hammond, Indiana.
Good morning to the board. Mr. President, this matter is an amendment to the agreement with Chicago Heights regarding water supply to them. It's contemplated through our past negotiations with them as it relates to their ability to extend their reach to other communities. They are in the midst of finalizing some contracts with other communities in Illinois. This simply confirms the future terms with us related to them as they resell water to other communities. It doesn't affect our contract with Chicago Heights itself. So this is the amendment. We would request approval. I believe it's been signed by the mayor already, and we would request
Yes,
the
it
board's
is.
approval. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll motion to approve the First Amendment to the 2018 agreement between the city.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item I, correspondence received from Fire Chief Jeffrey C. Smith advising of the promotion of Engineer Brian Robson to Captain effective June 30th, 2020, and Private Brandon Ashana to Engineer effective June 30th, 2020.
Okay. I motion to approve Chief Smith request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item J, release of lien on property located at 2824 New York Avenue.
Yes, Mr. President. This property was demolished by the city to a cost of approximately $10,000 a while ago. And as I kind of mentioned to the board, I think last week, we talked about the importance of getting these liens on file. This property, the city got paid for it. So we're asking that the lien be released and the demolition order be vacated, obviously, because it's down. So we were requested to do this by the title company. Lynn, if you could just make sure that I get those copies. And the amendment to the water as well. I'll talk to you about that. I'd request its approval, board. Thank you.
Okay. I'll make a motion to release the lien at 2824 New York Avenue.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K, order to rescind orders to demolish property located at 2824 New York Avenue.
Same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll motion to approve the order to rescind for 2824 New York Avenue.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item L, order to rescind order to demolish property located at 3233 173rd Street.
Mr. President, this is a request by Mr. Luter indicating that this property and actually on M, when you get to M, have been properly rehabilitated, and he's requested that the orders be rescinded.
Okay.
Okay. I motion to approve, to approve the order to rescind for 3233 173rd Street.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item M, order to rescind orders to demolish property located at 4619 Holman Avenue.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My motion is to rescind the order for 4619 Holman Avenue.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item N, contract with CNB Construction LLC for the demolition of 436 Conkey Street.
It was a rough road to get all the paperwork and everything in place. IDEM needed to be notified also, but I'm happy to say that 436 Conkey will be finished, or the demolition is going to start today. They actually got tobacco in the building now, so. CNB is now licensed on a temporary license. They'll be in front of the board, contractors board July 6th.
Okay, I motion to approve the contract with CMB Construction.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Good. Item O, correspondence received from Mr. Octavio Garcia requesting the demolition order on the shed of property located at 4339 Holman Avenue be removed.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. Good
Morning.
morning, sir, President. Was told that we needed to remove the first, there was a big garage that was falling apart. We removed that. Then they told me that the other back shed, I call it a shed because it's not being used other than storage. I took out a permit because of the siding that was damaged, and it's the outside, it's a beautiful building. The only thing that they're saying that it's just a couple of inches away from being the 3 feet that's allowed by the city. When I bought the house at the sheriff's sale almost 2 years ago, I bought it as is, and we complied with everything that the inspectors told us to do as far as doing the plumbing that needed to be done, take out the gas meter. There was 2 gas meters, there was 2 electrical meters inside the basement. We pulled them all out. In the shed storage, I call it, there's no water, there's no electricity. I use it just to store my stuff. Sometimes I fix clocks, I fix radios, anything I could get my hands on to make a little bit of extra money. And they said that they had sent demolition notice. I don't remember receiving one, probably did, but I just don't remember. But the building itself, it's not being used as a house, it's not being used as an apartment. The second floor, they told me there was an illegal business. That was before my time. The whole house is being used as a single-family home. There's no rentals there at all. I told Chris or Mr. Kelly, you're more than welcome to come every single day of your life to check to see if there's anybody living there. There's nobody living there. I just want, I want to keep my storage shed. And like I said, we just put brand new siding. A friend of mine got a hold of some very cheap, inexpensive siding. And the building looks beautiful. If I could show you pictures of the way it looks outside and the way it looks inside. And it's just storage.
If I may.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
I agree with pretty much everything he said, other than that what he's considering a shed because he's using it for storage is actually a house. Old knob and tube wiring, plumbing that's outdated, has been vacant for some time, was actually included in the original demo order. That included a garage shed that was behind this. This house is approximately 2 foot away from the main house. Wouldn't be able to allow it to stand anyway, wouldn't be allowed to be occupied. I explained to Octavio that I would issue a permit, waive the fee, because I know the price would be under $500 to remove the water and to remove the electric. If there needs to be electric in there, I'm not against that. I want an electrician to be able to do the work. Or if he wants to do the work himself, he's capable, pull a permit for that. We can have it inspected to make sure it's going to be safe. Right now, as it stands, it's still a house. He's using it as a shed, I agree with that. I don't believe he's going to put anybody in there. If he sells the house 10 years from now, someone's going to say, I got a second unit. There was an illegal apartment on the second floor that was removed. Appreciate everything he's cooperated with. This is just basically a step to make sure that this house doesn't become occupied at any time in the near
How
future.
did it wind up on the demo list?
It's vacant. Vacant. The garage, the rear garage was, it was dilapidated. The house and the front house were on a demolition list. They were vacant for some years. That's how they ended up on sheriff's sale.
Okay.
So it went through tax sale, never got, and eventually got on a sheriff's sale. So he's right, he bought it as is. I'm not accusing him of doing anything improper at all. I just want to make sure that the plumbing specifically is removed, and that any electrical was done by an electrician or himself and inspected, so he's going to be safe in there.
Mr. Smith?
Yeah, so I was just going to say that the request by Mr.
Garcia.
Garcia.
Mr. Garcia is to remove the demolition order. I need to probably examine the demolition order to see what it asks, because sometimes we have garage only, sometimes we have front and garage,
Sure.
sometimes we have shed. So I want to examine that to determine what exactly the demolition order is for.
Okay.
Because it sounds like Mr. Garcia wants the demolition order removed, which, by the way, we could do if it was just said garage, and he's done the garage, that's easy. But if it's a enforcement order because of, you know, a different structure, that's a separate issue that Mr. Kearney would have to bring before the board. If they can come to some agreement regarding a covenant on that structure, where we can just record it, that's another option, where that way Mr. Garcia would just promise, and it would run with the land when he sells it, that structure is not to be inhabited. You know, there's a lot of ways to work through it with him, I think. We just have to figure out the best solution. But I'll take a look at the demolition order, and if you want to set this for status, Kelly, for maybe a couple weeks, just to have time to talk with Mr. Garcia and try to work through something.
Sure.
16, want to go 16 or 23rd?
23rd? 16 or 23rd, Glenn?
I just like to add one more thing. When I went to get the water turned on, they have it as a 2-unit, and I told them, no, it's not a 2-unit, it's a single-family home. They told me, well, that's too bad, you need to pay $75. I paid the $75, even though it's a single-family home. And like I told
So we can probably work through, go ahead, Kelly.
Again, it brings up, there was a legal apartment on the second floor that was removed, so that is now a single-family home. We still have a house, although he's using it as a shed, we still have a house behind the front house. So it's still a 2-unit. Once we get that to the point where the plumbing and that is gone, I have no problem corresponding with the water department, taking that it is a single-family home.
Okay.
So that's something I think we can take care of in, when we send it.
Yeah, in fact, as we work through the issues, I'm sure that we can make that part of the agreement even, that will inform water that it's a single family. And I just checked the order, actually. It says rear and garage, it would cover both, so.
Yeah, that
we
one
do
was
need
completely
to-
the garage, and there was another,
Rear structure.
oh, it was falling apart.
All right, we'll work
We
through it. with Mr.
pulled it all completely down, it's just a slab back there.
All right, Mr. Garcia, obviously the board needs a little more information as well as Mr. Smith does as well, so he can examine what the demo order says. So we're gonna kick this down the road for 3 weeks.
Okay,
July
sir.
23rd, hopefully you can be here.
Definitely.
We'll have some, hopefully some resolution.
Definitely,
To the issue.
whatever the,
Okay, my motion is to set this over for status to July 23rd, 2020.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir.
thank you, sir, thank you, Mr. Kelly.
Item P, correspondence received requesting rental registration hearings.
Set them for August 6th. Okay. My motion is to set these rental registration hearings for August 6th, 2020.
Can I obtain a second, Mr. Perez?
Second, I'm sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is that good?
Really good, really good.
You guys set me up with that one. Item Q, correspondence received from Ms. Mona Lisa Martinez, 1311 Logan Street, requesting permission to hold a block party at the intersection of Kent Avenue and Logan Street on Saturday, July 4th, 2020, from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. with street closure. Is Ms. Martinez here by chance? No?
Signatures.
We don't have no signatures. We ain't no Logan.
It's not too much traffic over there. Lucky stuff.
In Logan.
I think it's okay, but I don't know if she needs anything to help with the street closure or not.
What do you think? Okay, let's do it.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve Ms. Martinez's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item R, correspondence received from Mr. Rodrigo Miramontes, 1024 Hoffman Street, requesting permission to close the corner of Hickory Avenue and Hoffman Street for a block party on Saturday, July 4th, 2020. Is he here?
I'm here for a rental restoration fee. They asked supposed to come in today. That was kind of late. You supposed to mention my address. I don't know, it's my first time doing this.
I don't see you on the agenda, sir, so we'll probably have to discuss it possibly, afterwards. Let's see. Okay, okay. Oh, this one here? Okay, all right.
Yeah, he did it for a birthday party.
All right, got it.
For a birthday party.
Okay.
No, just Hickory, just right on the corner there. Yeah, it's really not even blocking anything. It's the house right on the very corner there.
Okay.
I'm going to make a motion to approve Mr. Miramonte's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item S, correspondence received from Ms. Trina Lee Schultz, 904 Cherry Street, requesting Rhodey Avenue be closed on Saturday, July 18th, 2020, from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. for her granddaughter's birthday.
How much of Rhodey Avenue? All of it?
It's just that little chunk right there between, I'm guessing, that's Rhodey right here.
Just just where it intersects there with it?
We'll have to have Lynn reach out to find, let's see.
We just need to know how much of Rhodey.
She doesn't want until the 18th, so we can address it next week.
For what is next week, the 9th?
Ninth?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to motion that we set this for status for next week, July 9th, 2020, so it gives us time to review how much of Rhodey she actually wants to close.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item T, see Click Fix email requesting a no turn on red when children are present sign be added to the existing signage at 1609 Columbia Avenue. Button, oh, you want to see that?
Would you refer that to engineering? We'll get you an answer next week.
Absolutely.
And have, make coordination. It seems probably like a reasonable request, given that's the Zell's corner. So we'll take a look at it and make a recommendation by next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to refer this to engineering for their review.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Garage sale permit submitted for approval. Let me send them down to you. See if I can obtain your approval.
I'm assuming you need to obtain my approval?
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the garage sale permits.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I gotta wait on that one. Okay. Item 6, matters from board members. I do have 3 issues here. Let's see, findings in order for 1002 Morris Street. Mr. Smith?
1003.
Could be.
If the order says 1002, that's a typo. It's 1003. I believe someone's here. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
All right. This is demolition. We have a couple today.
Okay.
This is 1003 Morris. We have properly noticed it up. I would note that the inspector, Mr. Cole, has noted several things regarding the structure due to its deteriorated quality. We have photos from May 26th of the structure that's boarded up, at least partially boarded. Garage structure is in poor shape. I'm going to show Miss Johnson?
Yes.
Hi. Is this the property on 1003 Morris?
Yes.
I thought that was a board up, no? No. Okay, so maybe just a bad siding job or something, but I'd like to present to the board, this is the condition of the property, ma'am.
Is the garage what you're asking to demo or the house?
We are asking for the whole property. Whole property. So, but I'm just asking you, does this appear to be the condition of the home and garage? Yes. Okay, great. I want to make sure the board heard. Here's the pictures. Given the condition of the property, members of the board, and the report of the inspection department, we would request the demolition order be affirmed as presented. Ms. Johnson, I would note for you, but you have the right to present any evidence or discuss with the board why you disagree with the city's position, or if you do disagree with the city's position. And also, I would also mention to you that if it's your intention to rehab the property, or you'd like to work on it or something like that, you can also tell the board that, and there's a process for getting into a rehab agreement. The only question I have for you, Ms. Johnson, are you the owner of the property?
Yes, I am.
All right, and how long have you owned the property?
I inherited it, so I can't really, probably a year or two.
Okay, are you Gladys J. Johnson?
Yes,
And the prior owner was Dallas D. Ford?
yes.
Okay, you're a relation to that gentleman?
That's my aunt, she passed.
I'm sorry, your aunt, I'm sorry. It's your aunt, and she passed, so you inherited it from her?
Yes, but my uncle lived there after she passed, and he got murdered last Hammond Day, so.
Okay.
He was living there.
All right, well, I'm sorry about that. You own the property, though, currently? All right, you can present to the board anything you'd like to tell them.
Hello.
Good morning.
Due to COVID-19, I had to close my business, and I was pregnant. I just had a baby, emergency C-section, about less than 30 days ago, and almost died. So the house was, the grass wasn't being cut because I wasn't able to come and cut the grass. And I do pay all the bills every month, and I pay the taxes on it. My uncle was supposed to be responsible for fixing the property and the upkeep, but he got murdered. So with all that going on, being pregnant and the COVID-19 and all of that, the upkeep on the house has been rapidly deteriorating. I don't believe that the home should be demolished, but the garage is definitely in despair. But the home is not that bad, and I would like to rehab it, but I would need time. And I will also need to get the funds to fix it. And that will also take time. So what I'm asking is, can I have time to fix the house? Even with this pandemic going on, you can't even make money to fix a home. And I don't have good credit to get a loan. So this will take time.
As Attorney Smith has talked about going through the process of getting a rehab agreement. First step is taking the demo inspection. It's $150 to go through the house and say this is what the situation needs to be fixed or it does not need to be fixed, and establish what exactly needs to be done. She has the opportunity to sign that rehab agreement, and then allowing time, as long as there's progress moving forward, we'll continue the time. I understand the hardships of what everyone's gone through in this last year. So we'll work with her on that. But the first process is paying for the demo inspection so we can establish what exactly is wrong and what would be the first steps in doing it.
How long has the home been vacant, ma'am?
Since last summer.
So a
She
year?
got murdered,
It's been
yes.
vacant for a year? Okay.
Yeah, the only thing I would note is the inspector noted that the neighbors have complained on 311 often about the condition of the property and the grass. Ms. Johnson talked about the issues with the grass. Sounds like it's under control. I show that she lives in South Bend. I don't know if you live in South Bend?
Yes, I've
Okay,
been.
so, obviously we want to make sure with people that live out of town, that have properties in town, sometimes that becomes a problem. I'm not saying Ms. Johnson's a problem. I'm just saying that's also.
That's
something to
my
be aware of.
family, that's my family home. It was my grandfather's house. They've been in this neighborhood for forever. I came home from the hospital to that house. So it's not something that I acquired by paying for it or,
Sure.
it has sentimental value. That's why I've never rented it out or anything, because the family would have a issue. But all the elders are dead, and it's just me and my kids. So this is a hard thing to come back and forth and try to fix something when you don't have the money.
And we're absolutely sensitive to that. I think the issue is we have to balance, Ms. Ms. Johnson's issues with those of the neighborhood. In this situation, the board is aware in the past, we've requested and asked the board to enter the order. And I'll say this just for Ms. Johnson, is that doesn't mean the building gets knocked down tomorrow. It still has to be bid out. As you know, that takes 6 to 8 weeks, and then there's time after that. So that in that time, if Ms. Johnson makes the effort to get the inspection, to get moving on a rehab agreement, we'll present that to the board. But I think that we always want to keep things moving forward so that if Ms. Johnson does run into other difficulties, can't follow through on her end, we want to make sure we tell the neighborhood, hey, the process is moving along. So we'd request the findings be entered as presented.
Are you willing to have a discussion with Mr. Kearney about a possible rehab agreement and what that timeline might be to seek repairs? Well, you need the inspection first.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
He just said that cost $150.
It does. It's an extensive inspection.
I mean, that would give you an idea what's going to be requested of you just for the home to maintain itself.
I mean, but we're talking, I'm a nail artist with no job, with a newborn. And it's gonna take me time to come up with this $150. So how long do I get to come up with this money to get this inspection so I don't lose my family house?
And I think that's the issue, right, is that it kind of goes back to what I was saying. And this is nothing against Ms. Johnson, it's just the fact of the matter. And that is that if we don't have somebody that has the means to even get the inspection paid, we all know that the cost of the rehab, along with the bond, there's a $10,000 bond that has to be posted, along with the cost of the rehab. If it's beyond the means of the person, then we have to proceed.
Okay, but with this, I've never been in a pandemic before. And
Well,
I
none of us
normally make good money. But with this COVID-19 and being scared that I'm gonna die, I have not been working.
Understood. So, I mean, I'm inclined to issue the order to have the demolition process continue forward, but that doesn't mean that you cannot communicate with Mr. Kearney and seek some kind of middle ground that he's comfortable with to move the house forward and keep it in your family if that's the end game.
We'll do everything we can to work with Ms. Johnson.
Please understand, we'd much rather have the house occupied and on the tax roll and things that.
Without question.
Stabilizing the neighborhood, so we'll work with you all we can, but, there's.
I mean, it wasn't completely abandoned. I do come and check on it, and I do pay bills.
And we will.
The lights and the water is still on and running.
You'd be surprised how eager we will be to work with you, but
Okay.
we have to go forward, we have to have progress.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the demolition order for 1003 Moore Street.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, ma'am. Which one was that? Oh, that was this one.
1003.
We got one more. I've got another order here, findings and order for 718 165th Street.
718 165th. This property is owned by Ms. Washington. I believe she's here. Yes, hello, good morning. Maybe also here by counsel.
Yeah, Attorney Ian Flora here from Mortgage Company, J.P. Morgan Chase Bank.
All right, so J.P. Morgan has a mortgage on the property. We've notified them as well. We show a balance of $76,000 on it. This property, it appears that Ms. Washington owns it, but there's also a transfer on transfer on death deed as well. I'll show the photos here that we have. This is a property the board may remember. So 173rd and Calumet. Come back a couple. There's a check cashing place. I'm sorry, 165th and Calumet. Check cashing place. You go back. There's a church, Jefferson Street. There's a funeral home that we knocked down, and then this is the one right next to it. Okay. The property's in significantly poor condition. It's right on a main avenue, 165th Street. It's traveled constantly. I'm going to show.
Is it vacant, Mr. Smith?
I would hope so, given the
Okay.
condition.
All right.
I would hope so.
Gotcha.
Yes, let me just, there's a lot of photos here because they go back to May of 19. I would also note that Ms. Washington does live in the city, I believe. Ms. Washington, is this the property?
I've ordered it.
Okay. You do agree with these are the
Correct.
condition? Okay, these are
Yes.
correct. Okay. So given the poor condition of the property, we would request that the board enter the order as presented. Obviously, we have good service. Ms. Washington and the bank are both here. So Ms. Washington, you can go ahead and address the board.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I do not dispute the demolition. I just want to know what, in the letter it said it was court costs. Why would there be court costs?
Those won't be entered. It would just be the cost of the demolition will be a lien on the property. And so if for any reason you would sell the property, you'd have to deal with that lien.
Wait a minute.
But you've got a mortgage as a first lien anyway, so.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean-
on behalf of the mortgage company, we would request that this matter be set over for 30 days so we can send in an inspection and see if we're gonna fix it.
I guess in response to the bank board, as I just mentioned in the prior hearing, the bank will have more than enough time to determine if they're going to self-demo it or if they're going to try to preserve it, and they can pay for the inspection with Mr. Kearney if they want. But again, to let the process move forward, this won't be bid out for 6 or 8 weeks, so there'll be more than enough time for the bank to discuss this matter with Mr. Kearney. And it sounds like Ms. Washington doesn't have any objection.
No.
I guess I would disagree. The mortgage's been paid on the property. We don't have ownership rights in it. We're not in a foreclosure proceeding. We haven't had a situation where we'd know we'd have access to the property to do our own inspection if we want to fix it ourselves until we knew Ms. Washington didn't have an objection to basically taking her hands off the property. And she said today she didn't have an objection.
And that's an issue between the mortgagor and the mortgagee. It has nothing to do with the
When you
city.
say
We have an
taking them-
enforcement obligation under the Unsafe Building Act to proceed. If JP Morgan and the owner would like to make an agreement that they can now have access to the property, that's between those two.
And going forward, even if we affirm the order, and the bank wants to put an inspector in that house, we don't have an issue with that happening, right?
No, we would have to expect it for rehab agreement to be settled.
So, you understand that, sir?
I do.
You still got that option? Okay.
Okay. I'm going to motion to approve the demolition order for 718 165th Street.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have to come back?
And lastly, COVID Relief Fund AE Services Contract, American Structure Point. Mr. Button?
Yes. Good morning again.
Good morning.
I would note that Mr. John Kennedy is in the audience and would entertain any questions if, in fact, I can't answer them for the board. So in front of you, you have a architect-engineer agreement for work within City Hall in the amount of $160,000 to do design services. The source of the funding for this project is state funding that was distributed or intends to be distributed to the city. And so it's our plan to take a portion of that, about $1.8 million, and make improvements to City Hall for the purposes of accommodating the facility to handle any COVID issues or any future potential flu or pandemic-related or epidemic-related matters. So we're looking at restroom upgrades throughout the building. We're looking at ways to improve spaces so that co-working or networking within the individual offices have sufficient space between them, that we have proper social distancing and those kinds of things. And we've identified a number of departments that need space separation, and we want to be able to co-work some areas together much better. And then we want to make sure we are able to communicate with the general public. And so those are kind of the three kind of key points of what we're trying to aim for here. This project we expect to be funded the design through the funds that we got from the state, and we expect that the construction work would also be funded by funding through the state. The hitch is that we need to get this work completed by the end of the current year in order to be eligible for the grant funds. And
So
so,
not only does the engineering come out of this fund, but also the construction costs as
correct,
well? Okay.
correct. And so we're setting aside, we're budgeting about 1.8 million for the soft cost, the engineering costs, and architecture costs, and the construction costs for this project. I'm sure Mr. Smith has some comments.
Yeah, just very, very clearly, I just want to make sure that this is the initial plan. The Structure Point is working with the engineering department to identify not just the areas that Mr. Button explained, but also other potential areas that might fit and be needed for addressing COVID-19. This is COVID-19 specific, okay, funding, and therefore the the upgrades to City Hall will be COVID-19 specific. That's what it's addressing. That's what it's intended to address. And I know Mr. Button mentioned 3 different areas. However, there are potentially other areas that will be addressed when Structure Point gets done with their design. Sure. And the belief is that these funds will be reimbursed to the city through the state's portion that's been allocated by the governor to the city through their federal COVID relief funds.
Good. All right.
Good.
Good. All right.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve the contract for American Structure Point.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let's see, item 7, matters from other department heads and or the representatives. Nothing? Okay, new business, I see none. Old business, correspondence requesting placement of a dumpster at 7150 Lindbergh Avenue. I think we can approve it, but it's got to be on the street.
Okay,
It was my conclusion.
It's got to be.
Put it on the street. There's nowhere else to put it.
that was the one we were.
No, there was 3 options,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the street's the best one.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to approve the placement of the dumpster as long as it's on the street.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting open to the public? Oh,
Kind of in line.
this?
I'm late for a meeting, so I wanted to stop up here real quick. Good morning. We have a request for the board to a client of mine that is the owner of the First Choice Tobacco and Vape Company, located at 1534 Indianapolis Boulevard, was requesting a 15-minute parking sign to be placed in front of the, there's 3 parking stalls in front of his property, and he was looking to get a sign placed out there to at least get 1 or 2 parking spaces for him to have 15-minute parking. There's businesses in the area that have long-term parking that are out there, and it pretty much eliminates the possibility for his customers to come in, grab what they need to do, get in and get out, as well as deliveries for his facility, colas, stuff like that. It's just very restrictive. He's talked to the neighbors surrounding the area. I've got a list of addresses on there that everybody's talked to. Everybody's been okay with it. There's actually signs next door. There's a nail salon next door. There's a sign in the window asking customers to please not park in front of his business. We're just looking to see if we can get a 15-minute parking sign to kind of help, deter the people from parking over there, and see if it'll help them out to where they can just get in and get out. So,
Mr. Button?
Yeah,
no problem.
I think the property owner might be here. He may want to address the board. We're certainly sympathetic to the situation that's there now. I think there are pre-existing locations where 15-minute parking has been made available throughout the city, so I'm not denying that. But I think this is overly restrictive parking request on the Indianapolis Boulevard. We have made certain applications to this board to, for example, their employees park in front of a business for 8 hours, and that's hard on a business. As we recognize that but a 15-minute parking restriction in this location is very onerous for the general public. And it's my opinion as a city engineer that this request be denied. Because I don't believe it's a fair use of the city's resources. Because if we're gonna have to start towing people who stay there longer than 15 minutes, it's gonna require more city resources to do that. And I just believe that we shouldn't overly restrict this parking at this location. Thank you.
Is this the owner?
This is the owner, Mr. Hammond.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I own the property 1534 Indianapolis Boulevard. I just opened my business, and I recently bought the property. It cost me $250,000. There's a nail salon right next to my building, and only 6 parking spots, 3 front of my building and 3 front of their building. Their customer, they come in for almost 3 hours, 4 hours. They take the whole front of my building. No customer for me to come and shop. Even my delivery, like I had 7-Up company, they came in the other day. They were waited 10 minutes, 15 minutes until somebody moved. Nobody moved, they couldn't do it. So they left. So I'm in a position right now, like I have no business whatsoever because of their customer. I talked to the owner, her name is Rose. And she said, I'm trying my best. I tell my customer to park in the parking lot, next street, cross street. They don't listen. She said, I cannot force them to do that. He said, I support you to do whatever you want to do to get, at least 3 parking spots in front of your store. And that's all I'm asking for.
Mr. Smith?
Yeah, just a couple things I would note on the legal side. One, the sign that at the nail salon says, "Don't park there or you're going to get towed." I don't think you can tow somebody off of a legal spot on Indianapolis Boulevard. That's number one. Number two, I believe he needs to check with INDOT because that's if I'm not mistaken, Dean, help me, is that a state road there?
It is a state road.
All right, so
Chris has reached out to INDOT and has received INDOT's permission to do so. However, it's really driven by the municipality and their desire on how they want to see this set up. And if they want to make accommodations for this business to set 15-minute parking standard at this location, that's clearly up to the board to make that decision. I would just urge caution, because if we set this level of precedent, we're going to have a lot of this come through, in my opinion. And I just believe it's overly restrictive. I mean, if we did a 2-hour parking, that seems reasonable to me. But to have a 15-minute parking and then able to enforce that is overly restrictive to the city.
and difficult for the police department. So, and I'm not sure if Mr. Mohammed has parking at his store. I'm surprised that zoning didn't talk about that with him when he applied. Do you have a business license, sir?
I have a business license.
So I'm not sure if Mr. Poland or his department had a discussion with him regarding parking spots that are needed and required before he opened. He may be able to address that, but that'd be something else I would want to make sure that he's in compliance even at that location with parking, so.
I mean, from my standpoint, I think I'm going to have to do a drive-by so I can visually see what we're talking about here. I mean, I'm not going to make a decision on it today.
I agree.
I mean, I think we need to take a look and see what we're dealing with
I've got a
in
letter.
regards to the parking.
I've got a letter of request for Matt, if you guys like to have it for you guys.
Oh, yeah, you can give it here, but, I'm
No, just so
old
you can
school,
take
man.
it.
I got to see it, man. I can read it, but I got to see it.
You know where it's at.
I do.
Because initially, I'm inclined to agree with the city. I don't want to set precedent that's going to start happening all over the city.
So we're going to
I would
give you a
like to
fair
see it.
look. I mean, we're going to commit that to you. We're going to give you a fair look, and I think we'll give you an honest opinion when we make that decision. It's not going to be today. Could be next week.
Okay.
We can let Mr. Moore know. I mean, you don't need to appear unless you want to, obviously, but I think we're going to defer it for at least a week to try and understand the whole dynamic here.
I appreciate that.
Worst case scenario, just thinking out loud without talking to my client, what about a 30-minute sign? Because a 2-hour, they're getting their nails done, they're gonna come in there, and I understand with Mr. Button and agree with that. But it's, with the 2-hour, yeah, that would help. But with they're in there getting their nails done, if they're blocking it up for even an hour and a half or something like that, he's in, get your stuff and get out. So we're just,
I mean, I think there could be all kind of people parking there for all kind of reasons, but
it's not just
we'll
another
figure it out, and you may or may not like what we come back with, but we'll figure it out. All right?
Thank you so much.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay, so we need a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we defer this to next week's meeting, July 9th, 2020. That will give us a chance to go and observe exactly what they want.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm here
Yes,
for
sir.
a rental restoration fee. I was late. I thought it was supposed to be 60 days, but it was like June 1st, so I came in on a Monday on the 15th, and the lady downstairs said I had an appeal. So I'm on behalf of my brother David Ruiz, and I'm Adam Ruiz. So I live at the rental properties at 4522 Toll, and David Ruiz is at 1332 Truman. So I think he sent me a picture. It looked like July 2nd, but it might be July 23rd. That I don't know what day it is. So I tried to get a hold of him, and he's at work.
We had nothing set on the agenda for today, so we have to continue it over anyway, to be able to do the research. And
What's the address you said, 45?
Yeah, 4522 Toll. That's a rental property, and 1332 Truman. So
Is that also a rental? That's the other one?
huh?
That's the other one, also a rental?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Truman address?
yeah. David Ruiz is at 1332 Truman,
All right.
and I'm at 4522
So we've
Toll.
got a bunch set for later in the month. Why don't you,
Was it the
why
23rd?
don't you call with, Lynn will check. She'll
I
check
showed you
and
a
she'll be
picture.
able to see.
She'll show me the two. I said, is that the second or
no,
23rd?
we can set it for the 23rd, and we'll have the research, give us a chance to look at some notes and make sure that's.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, we'll try and figure out what the date is. You'll get some kind of notification when to be here.
I mean, I'll pay downstairs. It's only $5, you know, but
It's the matter of waiving the late fee. I just can't say, okay,
Yeah, we probably got to hear the story as to,
Okay.
how it all transpired, that's
If
all.
it looks like I'm waiving everybody's late fees, then everyone's gonna start saying, why are you waiving all the late fees?
all right. You know what the exact date it is? Is it the 23rd or is it I heard August 6th.
No, I don't,
You will be notified.
He was notified, but I don't know if it was today or the 23rd.
well, it wasn't today, we can tell you that because it's not on here, so.
Okay. It's probably the 23rd, so
We'll
I do
just have to see.
apologize.
All right.
All right,
You
have
got
a good
it.
day.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Okay, can I obtain a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.